All right, my next guest, you know him, you love him, in part because kind of helps make you a lot of money. So we're going to talk about three factors that Rob Luna from Real Talk Capital uses in his approach. Rob, let's talk about that because, you know, a lot of people come to you for a stock market education. What are these three, briefly, these three items that the checklist, so to speak?
Yeah, briefly, Charles, their narrative. Number one, does the stock have a good story? I heard you talking over there to John. It's definitely not fake meat. That's not the story people want to hear right now. Number two, you've got to have good momentum, Charles. A stock could be undervalued, great story, but unless anyone else is buying it, you could sit there that way for a long time. And then number three, you want to use some valuation metric. Make sure it's not too overbought, not too expensive, so that it doesn't make any sense.
So here's my push back a little bit on two things.
Yep.
I'm like not hip at all. When I hear about something like whether it's a stock, I just heard about someone named Khalees. I never heard of her before. So so when I hear about hip stuff, it's a little late. How do you know if you're early when this narrative starts to blossom?
Yeah, you know what, look, I think the big narrative right now for us, for example, is obviously Web 3.0, artificial intelligence. I heard you talking with Lou about that. So you just want to make sure it's something that fits in what people want to invest in today. And then for these smaller companies, Charles, there's no way to really find them. There's so many without doing some screens. So you got to use some technology to bring you some names. That'll allow you to start doing some more of the qualitative research.
I'm glad you brought that up. Very few of, Gary Kay talks about his screens a lot, but they're so important for the average investor out there to be able to get the kind of research, narrow it down, and compete with the big boys. Let's talk about these smaller, less discovered names you like right now. Tell us about them.
Yeah, there's one I really like right now. Actually, there's a few, but let me tell you about IonQ, IONQ. This is a smaller company. When I talk about these companies around 10 bucks, obviously there's going to be some volatility with them. But why I like this one, when you look at machine-based learning, when you look at artificial intelligence, the types of computers, quantum computing that are going to be needed for that type of technology, very expensive. What they're doing is quantum computing as a service. So a lot of these smaller companies can tap into that. They've already got contracts with General Electric, Hyundai, the U.S. Air Force. This is a company I think is going somewhere. Could be volatile, but I think there's a lot of upside there, Charles.
All right, let's talk about your new service, the Luna Tick Investor. It launches on Monday. You bring 10 names under 10 weekly. You got to tell us more about this.
Yeah, well, I got something for everybody. You know, my mission, Charles, is really to educate and elevate, and that comes through financial literacy. So we've got a program for income investors, growth investors, and yes, for traders. One of those is 10 under 10. So as I mentioned, traders shouldn't just be on chat boards. They need stock screening services, but some of that technology, super expensive, not really democratized yet. So we take all those services, screen them, then we put our own proprietary research. Each week, we're going to bring 10 names out. That's one that's going to be on there. I wanted to give a freebie to Fox Business listeners today. IonQ will be out there Monday for investors. The idea is giving them some of the research that's been out there without them having to pay an arm and a leg.
What are you looking at on the broad side, this broader market? We got a minute to go. There's obviously a lot of anxiety out there. I mean, the momentum to the upside, not gargantuan moves per se, but you can feel it. It's getting thick. You know, it's going to be really thick going into the FOMC meeting. What are you expecting?
Yeah, you know, Charles, we've been doing this for a long time, and sometimes I hate to say it, but just like a lot of things in life, it's gut feel. The market just feels a lot different right here. The market does want to rally. FOMC meeting, yes, people are a little bit paused. Now, while the market in general has been making massive moves, you can see some really massive moves in individual stocks. So look, this is the time you want to use your research. You want to use some of the momentum indicators that are out there. But honestly, I feel a little bit different. I think there's a lot of upside, and the risk, in my view, Charles, is more to the upside than it is the downside here.
All right, Rob. Congratulations on your new service. We'll check it out.